So, alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You see, a lot of people have made claims regarding Islam. People that have refused to go back to history to read history. They've made lots and lots of claims about Islam. They've misrepresented Islam. They've misled people to thinking that Islam is just about hatred. Islam preaches violence and, it's nothing but, a hateful religion. Looking at what's happening now in Palestine, people keep saying Muslims are just after the Jews. They just want to kill the Jews and all that. But then that's not true. There's this Professor David J. Wassenstein, a Jewish historian in Vanderbilt University, USA. He, in a comparative religion lecture he said quite some few facts about Islam and how Islam saved Jewry from going extinct. Inshallah, I'll be posting a link to this article where you can, read the whole article itself. Check the description box, inshallah. You would see a link to this article. So this man said Islam saved Jewry from going extinct. This is an unpopular, discomforting claim in the modern world. Of course, this is true. People wouldn't want to believe this, and it is a fact. It is a fact. You just go back to history, read history, you would see this and you would get to understand that you have been lied to, as I said earlier. And he said the argument for this is double. The first is 570 CE when the Prophet ﷺ was born. As of that time, the Jews and Judaism were on the way to oblivion. And then he continued and said, secondly, the coming of Islam saved them, providing a new context in which they not only survived but flourished, laying foundations for subsequent Jewish cultural prosperity. And then this man, he took us backwards, starting from where the Jews were being persecuted, the Jews were forced to convert to Christianity and all that. He said by the 4th century, Christianity had become the dominant religion in the Roman Empire. One aspect of this success was opposition to rival faiths, including Judaism, along with massive conversion of members of such faiths, sometimes by force. And we know this when we look at history. We'll see that, people are converted to Christianity because they were forced to convert, and if they don't, they are killed instantly. So he continued and said, much of our testimony about Jewish existence in the Roman Empire from the time on consists of accounts of conversion. Great and permanent reductions in numbers through conversion between the 4th and the 7th centuries brought with them a gradual but relentless whittling away of the status, right, social and economic existence and religious and cultural life of Jewish all over the Roman Empire. So he now talked about how had Islam not come along, the conflict with Persia would have continued. The separation between Western Judaism, that of Christendom, and Babylonian Judaism, that of Mesopotamia, would have intensified. Jewry in the West would have declined to disappearance in many areas, and Jewry in the East would have become just another Oriental cult. But this was all prevented by the rise of Islam. The Islamic conquest of the 7th century changed the world and did so with dramatic, wide-ranging and permanent effect for the Jews. Within a century of the death of Muhammad ﷺ in 632, Muslim armies had conquered almost the whole of the world where Jews lived, from Spain eastward across North Africa and the Middle East as far as the eastern frontier of Iran and beyond. Almost all the Jews in the world were now ruled by Islam. This new situation transformed the Jewish existence. Their fortunes changed in legal, demographic, social, religious, political, geographical, economic, linguistic, and cultural terms, all for the better. If Islam or Muslims are after the Jews, this would have been an opportunity to get rid of these people. But then we seek to protect them. And I'll be playing a video, inshallah, soon that it's important you should watch this video, where you would see Umar bin Khattab, the second Khalif, when he conquered Jerusalem, and he asked the patriarch, the Christian patriarch there, a puppet for the Roman Empire, that what about the Jews? Where are the Jewish community? He wanted to talk to them, wanted to see them. He said, we chased these guys out. These guys, we chased them out, and then, we killed the rest of them and all that. But
I want to see the Temple Mount. And Sophronius goes, why? And the Caliph goes, because it's holy. It's holy to everybody. It's holy to Christians, it's holy to Jews, it's holy to Muslims. And Sophronius goes, nah, we haven't been treating it as holy to anybody. And Umar ibn al-Khattab goes, what do you mean? And so Sophronius says, so after we tore down the second temple of Solomon, when we conquered Palestine, we turned the Temple Mount into a garbage dump to punish the Jews. And the Caliph goes, what do you mean? And Sophronius goes, yeah, there's like 500 years of refuse on that thing. It's just a garbage dump. And he goes, show me. They walk up to the Temple Mount, And the Caliph can't believe what he's looking at. He falls on his knees and he begins clearing the garbage by his hands. His army sees their leader on his knees clearing garbage, and they run up and they start clearing the garbage themselves. And they clear the garbage off the Temple Mount. The Caliph goes, okay, I want to meet some of the Jews living in Jerusalem. And Sophronius goes, there are no Jews in Jerusalem. And the Caliph goes, what do you mean there's no Jews in Jerusalem? The city is holy to the Jews. How could there be no Jews? And he says, well, us Christians, we pretty much murder them every chance we get. We really hate Jews. In fact, in the war we just did against the Persians, the Jews sided with the Persians. And so we murdered 20,000 Jews in Jerusalem and completely purged the city of its remaining Jewish population. And Omar ibn al-Khattab goes, no, this is wrong. You can't do this. And so he turns to a convert to Islam, a Jewish convert to Islam, and he says, I need you to find me 80 Jewish families that were willing to volunteer to move to Jerusalem so we can reestablish a Jewish presence in the city. And that's how the Muslims conquered Jerusalem.
Alhamdulillah, these are the kinds of things people wouldn't want you to see. So, but then you can't be the judge. With this, I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.